I'm going to take a guess and assume that about 75% of you that are coming over here to watch this review either have A, seen it, B, have heard from other people and want to hear another person talk about it, or C, you are actually genuinely interested in this anime and you want to see what somebody else's opinion is of it. You may or may not appreciate how I go about this review of Overlord. You will most certainly not appreciate me bringing in the other source materials. For example, the manga, which started around the same time that the anime came out. And then you also have the light novels, which is actually what I'm currently reading. I'm currently reading Volume 5, I think. If I recall correctly, Volume 5 is where I last left off for the light novel series of Overlord. And that's the first thing that came out for this series, this franchise, so to say. And I gotta say, I did enjoy Overlord. I thoroughly enjoyed it. I really liked it. Everything about it is really fun. It's a very good and solid anime to watch on your free time. So for those that are actually curious as to what Overlord actually is, and if you somehow don't know what Overlord actually is, I have a synopsis for you guys. The story takes place in the year 2138 when virtual reality gaming is booming. Yggdrasil, sorry if I butchered that name, just you'll see it somewhere in the video. Yggdrasil, a popular online game, is quietly shut down one day. However, the protagonist, Momonga, decides to not log out. Momonga is then transformed into the image of a skeleton as the most powerful wizard. The world continues to change with non-player characters, NPCs, beginning to feel emotion. Having no parents, friends, or place in society, this ordinary young man, Momonga, then strives to take over the new world the game has become. Pretty badass synopsis if you ask me. And before you guys say anything, no, this is nothing like Sword Art Online. Not even fucking close. You just get that filthy thought out of your mind and just get it away from you. I'm not saying Sword Art Online is shit. I'm just saying it is nothing like Sword Art Online, so do not worry if you don't like Sword Art Online. It is completely different take on everything. It just so happens to be another gaming, stuck in a game kind of situation. Except he can't, as far as I know, he cannot leave Yggdrasil or the new world that he is now in. He cannot leave that place. So I think he's just going to end up staying there, is as far as I know. What did I like about this anime? That's actually a really hard question for me because what did I specifically like? I liked quite a bit actually. I liked the Guardians and their dynamic personalities, and I liked how all of them still have an undying loyalty to Momonga-san, who is Eins Ulgon. Because I like the Guardians, I guess I can say that I really liked the characters in this anime. I also really like just how overpowered Momonga is. Just how fucking overpowered he is. In the first 6 episodes, you get to see just how fucking powerful he is. It's just not even funny how ridiculously overpowered he is. And it's just kind of it's one of those kind of anime, huh? But no, it's really not. It's just because he still has the gaming thoughts. He still thinks to himself as though he's still a gamer. Because when he sees an enemy, he still wants to approach them cautiously. He doesn't want to just go in totally haughty and totally like a god. No, he goes in just to make sure. He goes in feeling out the strength of the enemies. And I'm not going to say much more after that, but I will say that it's not that he's overpowered, it's just that the people he's faced so far are extremely underpowered compared to him. The story itself, mean, that's a really stupid thing for me to say, but I really like to say that I liked, because if I said that I liked the anime, obviously I probably liked the story, especially if there's no fan service. Then that means the only other thing that I could possibly like is the story. And I liked the story. The story was very good. It was very driven. I got immersed into it. I really felt like I was part of the cast going through the things that they were going through. And I also liked how it's not just action. It's not just action. There's also a little bit of mystery. There's also a little bit of horror, and there's a little bit of psychology, a little bit of psychological warfare going on. It's not until towards the end, but there's a little bit of that as well. I loved the concept of Overlord. Because when you shut down a game and you just turn off the servers, where does it all go? Like, in your imagination, even though you know that once the server's done, and then if you just get rid of the data, then yeah, it's gone. It's completely gone. But in our imagination, we can still choose to believe that maybe once they shut down the servers, what if you get sent to another world that is like a photocopy of what was on the servers, like a photocopy of what was on the servers, and like what would happen? Like, what would you imagine as that's going on? And for me, I find that fascinating. I really enjoyed the outtake, the on-look that they had for this series, and the environment, the settings. I loved all of them. They were very fantastical. They were very obviously not modern, yet they still had a charm to them. I still found myself being fascinated by everything that was going on. There are a few things that I have to bring up that are bad. The first and foremost thing is not even so much the anime's fault. It's more the tragedy of Overlord itself. When Madhouse is the company that made Overlord. When Madhouse came in, picked up the copyrights to produce this anime, they came in, took it, and then put it on a very, very low priority budget for this anime, like for this year. Now, if you guys aren't sure about what Madhouse can bring up, Parasite was their anime for the winter of 2015. And it was also started, I think, back in fall of 2014. Another anime that they did is Ore Monogatari, which I still need to finish. Sorry about that. And then Overlord. And then, of course, the anime that just about everybody in any social media regarding anime is exploding and just fangasming over, One Punch Man. Those are all anime that Madhouse has done. Another anime that you might have heard of is Death Parade, which is an original, actually. And it was a very good anime. I liked it. A lot of my friends liked it, and I'm pretty sure it was highly regarded. But so, why am I bringing up all these anime? I'm trying to bring up I'm trying to bring up a comparison so that you can understand why I'm saying Overlord was on such a low budget. The first and foremost thing you need to notice is that the animation and even the art style, but mainly the animation of this series was very, very poor. Very poor quality. Was obviously not of quality that you would expect from Madhouse. And I'm not really going to talk about why they did that. Just very briefly, I will say that they did this because One Punch Man was the vastly more popular choice for anybody that was watching. Like, for anybody that wanted to get manga adapted, and they did a poll for this, One Punch Man was by far number one. So Madhouse saw that poll, and they thought to themselves, okay, we're going to throw all of our money into One Punch Man, but still have a couple of series going throughout the year so we can get money. Ore Monogatari wasn't too bad because there wasn't any need for action and fighting. It was more of romance and shoujo, like that kind of thing. But Overlord had a lot of fighting, it had a lot of action, a lot of explosions. So the budget there shows. It very much so showed. If you can get past the animation, you're well set to keep watching the anime. Because the anime does really good in adapting the light novel. It's horrendously rushed, which is the other thing I'll talk about. But aside from poor animation and rushing, the series, the story, all that, besides those two things, this anime you can enjoy. No matter from what walk of life you're from, you can enjoy this anime. Should not be that hard. The other thing that I mentioned was the rushing. The pacing of this anime was all over the place. And what do I mean by all over the place? I mean, when you, even if you watch this anime as an anime-only viewer, you're still going to be able to notice that there's some seriously crucial information being kept out. And Madhouse did a decent job of covering up those plot holes and covering up those crucial things that made the light novel much better to read than any others. But Overlord had some seriously lacking material from the source material. And because of that, for myself and for anybody else that has ever watched or has ever watched the anime whilst having read the manga or even the light novel, you're going to be able to notice, oh shit, yeah, they left this part out, they left that part out, oh, so disgusting, just so on and so forth. Normally I wouldn't go into details about the rushing, but I will say this one specific thing that really annoyed me. There's a fight about 3/4 of the way into the anime. It's one of the guardians goes down to a cave, and it's like a bunch of bandits. Anybody that's watched the anime will know exactly what I'm talking about. It's a bunch of bandits and just a whole bunch of nasty people down there. There's this one guy where in the light novel, they just did so much backstory on him. They did inner monologue, so much character development in the time from him picking up his sword and walking out to meet the Guardian. There was so much development right there. And the whole point of that was to show just how powerful the Guardians under Momonga-san, how powerful the servants under Momonga were. And then it also shows how fucking powerful Momonga himself is. Ein Zulgun. Regardless of which, that was the one thing that really stuck in the frontal lobe of my brain. It just stayed right there, stayed in the front stage of my mind, up to even now, a couple weeks since Overlord has ended. It just really just like a piece of cancer just right there. And I'm like, if only they had done this, or if only they had made this slightly better. Before I leave off with this video and saying, yeah, this was good, there was some faults, there was some things I just didn't like, before I end this video, I wanted to give a rating, as I do per usual. The rating for this anime, I've been very conflicted in myself, because I have had to try and dissolute myself from the light novel and the manga, get myself away from those and focus only on the anime. If I were to just regard the entire franchise, I would probably give it an 8 out of 10. That's a really fucking solid. That's pretty solid if you ask me. That's really good. I liked it. I loved the light novel. I love reading it. Every time I sit down and actually read it, I end up finishing a chapter or two before I have to do something else. And I really enjoyed the light novel. I'm iffy on the manga, and then the anime I really enjoyed as well. However, for the anime, I have to give it a 7 out of 10. I was considering 6 out of 10, but I actually enjoyed. I looked forward to each episode as they came. So, just because of the fact that I was entertained by this anime, I have to give it a 7 out of 10. If I wasn't entertained, I would have given it a 6 out of 10. Being completely objective, a 6 out of 10 would probably be better if I was completely objective. However, I'm a human. I can't be completely objective. I'm not that heartless. 7 out of 10. Take it or leave it. I recommend it to most everybody. If you're looking for romance, this isn't an anime for you. If you're looking for just about anything else, then this is an anime. This is an anime for you. It's a pretty good anime. It's just there's some things that are lacking, some things that I fell short in. And overall, though, it was good. Thank you all so much for watching. If you liked this video, please like and subscribe to my channel. It really helps me, and it really helps the channel. It also helps me get motivated and to actually finish all the reviews that I have lined up for the summer of 2015. And I will be starting to do I will be starting to do my impressions, like the first 3 episode impressions of anime for, I think it's either this week or next week that the 3rd episode for most anime comes out. So that's that. That'll be up sooner or later, so please subscribe and you'll be able to see what I think of the new anime that's airing this season. And well, as always folks, somehow, somewhere, I'll see you guys soon.